Hello everybody. So I'm going to do a Stitch With Me take 2. So I recorded one last night and it didn't come out very well. All you could see was my hand because of where I had the camera placed. So we're going to try again. Alright, so let's do 9. A sideways 9, because that's an easy sample, right? 605. So, just trying to get my stitching going really again. And what better way than do a Stitch With Me? So, that's what I'm doing. So I just got back from the dentist, so the house is quiet. The hubby doesn't get home for another couple hours. And anytime I go to the dentist for anything, unfortunately, causes me a great deal of anxiety, which I'm not altogether comfortable with, but I have come to the realization I really can't do anything about it. So, coping mechanisms are the name of the game. And I have found that my crafting is a great way to cope with the anxiety. Although today's visit was not too horrible. I calmed down pretty quickly. We weren't doing anything major. Friday, on the other hand, will be another story, but I'm trying not to think about that. And that's my other coping mechanism. Let's just not think about it. So, I am working on my Daisy Fairy, and this is really what I'm trying to finish sometime in the near future. So I don't know how near of a future I will get because school starts back up on August 15th, and the Monday and Tuesday before that are teacher work days. So I'll have some class time to get my classroom, get any copies made, all that good jazz. And then I will have a lot of meetings as well. So it's a little frustrating, but that's all part of being a teacher. You spend a lot of time in meetings. So not as many as when I was working in the corporate world. So I won't complain too hard. So, but I have that I am trying diligently right now to get my lesson plans done for at least the first IPR, which is the first 4 or 6 weeks, I can't remember. So at this point I have the first 2 weeks of school planned out, so that's a good start. So, and with science, so last year I taught physics. This year I'm teaching biology, which, yay, I'm a biology major. I really would rather teach biology than physics. And that was awesome and everything, but it means that I can't just do the exact same thing I did last year. So I will have a great many of the same students again, which is fine. But it means that the first couple weeks for any science class are pretty much the same type of activity. And I try not to do the same activities again, but I mean, because they'll have seen it last year. So now for some of it, that's okay. So the first 2 weeks of school will cover, the joys of lab safety, because, that's important. And we'll cover scientific method. We'll cover measurement and graphing before we even really touch on anything having to do specifically with biology. Just basic lab skills that you need. So, how to measure, what units to use, all that good stuff. So, and then we also do a book unit. And so we will be reading for the first semester The Hot Zone. So I've already read it once, but there's reading it and then there's reading it to analyze it. And I really need to go back through it again and do more analysis, because I need to not only understand the story, but I need to be able to lead a discussion. I need to be able to come up with questions for the students. And so I have some work to do there. So I've been starting on that. So one of the other people in my department has already done this once before. So we have the questions that she did before. And so I'm using that as a starting point. So, and she's also, was trained on how to do a literacy unit, where that's not something I have a lot of training in. So it's good. I kind of know where I want to go with it, and having some place to start is always helpful. So I have that. And then I am trying to hold on to as much of my summer as possible. I have been working on my craft room / office, because it's, well, last year, there was a bed in here because it was my office / craft room / guest room. Well, I don't have guests all that often. The bed was not that comfortable. And my guests typically tend to be my grandniece and nephew, and they really don't care what they sleep on, whether it be a bed or a tent or a cot or an air mattress. They don't care. So, that matter of fact, I have a little pop-up tent for them when they stay that they love, and I actually need a second one, so I can have one for each. But that's besides the point. So, and that is my cockatiel. So I have, and I don't know why he's trying to say pretty bird, but he's not doing a very good job right now. So I lost my train of thought. Oh, so I've gotten rid of the bed and I got a new desk that functions a little bit better for me, which is a good thing. So, new desk. I have my rabbit now is in my office. So, funnily enough, the bunnies started in my office, but then had to move downstairs when we put a guest room in here. And now we're back here because I sadly lost one of my bunnies. I think it was last fall. And so I now have just one in my office. And so I share my office with her and my snake. But I'm trying to get it more focused on being functional and a good place to want to hang out. So, and I've kind of been just slowly working on it. But my husband, bless him, the other day he looks at my walls and he goes, you should move that sign and you should make that whole wall your cross-stitch gallery. And I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. He's like, you have all these finishes. And where are they? They're put up. You haven't done anything with them. You could finish them and put them on the wall, and you'd have your art displayed. Now, that was brilliant. At one point, I had decided that my living room was going to be where I displayed my art. So, I do photography as well, although I haven't done any photography in ages. I was hoping to do some this summer, but it's so bloody hot, I have no desire to go outside and take pictures. I have no desire to go hiking. My poor dog has no desire to go hiking. He's like, no. Although he has a summer cut, so he's happier now. But I can't say that I've done a lot with that. So, long story tangent there. But anyway, so my living room is primarily decorated with some photos, either from my wedding or that I have taken, and a few cross-stitch pieces. And I did that back before I went back to school, so that's been 4 years now. And so now, admittedly, haven't been getting as much stitching done as I was, before I went back to school. But, the first year of teaching is done. That's usually the hardest. And so now I can start getting more into my crafting. Now, I will say that while I thoroughly enjoy my cross stitch, I have been doing a lot more crafts, period. So I'm just generally a crafty person, and I have numerous crafts that I enjoy, and I have I have pared down in recent. That was one of the things I did do this summer, is I did get rid of some of my craft supplies for crafts that I have not done in several years. And the reality is I was not so good at them, and I could purchase a better quality than I could make from someone else. Thank you, Etsy. So, my jewelry making, I gave up on that. My sister-in-law does a phenomenal job. So, if I want something made for jewelry, I just ask my sister-in-law. As a matter of fact, my most prized cross-stitch accessory is the scissor fob Jack and Frogger that my sister-in-law made. Now, she did not just make me one set. No. I have like 3 sets of Jack, scissor fob, and Frogger. And so, yeah, I have plenty of jewelry that she has made me, and I have the bling for my cross stitch. Now, I really want a Jack needle minder, and now I can afford one, because for many years, buying a needle minder just was not an option. I made all of mine. I think I've only bought one needle minder. All the rest I've made myself. So, the only one I bought was my clottering. So, that's actually a pretty neat looking back for me. So, yeah, I really want to find a Jack now to go with the rest of my Jack stuff. But it's it's on the list, but there's so many things on the list. And I have a great many needle minders. Matter of fact, my board looks a little sparse right now because I have so many whips with needle minders in them. And so, yeah. But at some point, I want a Jack one. But I want a sparkly one. I love my sparkles. And you can't tell I know, but this one says Hope. And it's sparkly. But, yeah. So, getting rid of... So I downsized all my beads. I have a few that I need to send to my sister-in-law so she can make me some jewelry. That they were really nice beads that I had purchased with plans to do something with. And that hasn't happened. And at this point, I put them somewhere. And every time she comes home to visit, I forget to pull them out and give them to her. So... at some point, I will remember and get them to her, but it's obviously not that big of a deal. And then let's see, I got rid of my polymer clay because I was making polymer beads. They never turned out that great. What I see in my head and what my hands make are 2 vastly different things. And at a certain point, I start to get frustrated when I can't create what I want to create. And honestly, I can go to Etsy and buy pretty much anything that I want. And if there's a specific project that I want to create something for, I'll just go buy some polymer clay. It's not that expensive. So I got rid of a great deal of my sewing fabric. I had grand intentions of doing a scrappy quilt. I have two quilt block sets sitting in my closet. I have one that is queen sized, and then I have one that is for a little boy. So I have two in there, and they've been sitting there waiting for me for quite some time. And I still haven't gotten around to doing them. Now, I'm not going to throw them out because I've already cut the blocks out and I've already pieced them together. I just need to finish putting them together and sew it together. I mean, the hard stuff is done because I don't hand quilt. I machine quilt. So that hobby's in there. But it just hasn't called to me. Now, I should finish the one for a little boy because it would make a beautiful Christmas present for my grandnephew. I have 2 grandnephews, 3 grandnephews. I don't want to keep, yeah, that number just keeps increasing. So anyway, I should finish that because that would make a great Christmas present for him. So it's on my to-do list. But I tend to get sidetracked and it just hasn't gotten done. So it's there when I get to it. So there's that. And then the yarn has gone through stages. So I've always crocheted. I've been crocheting for longer than I've been stitching, and I've been stitching for 30 years now. And I learned to crochet before that. So I really enjoy crochet, and I enjoy it even more now that I've got ergonomic hooks and my hand doesn't cramp up after crocheting for a half an hour. So yeah, that's kind of nice. So I've been doing more crochet, and then my friends got me into knitting, and I really enjoy it, and the yarn is spectacular. And it is so much fun, just like with cross stitch, to create something. And the really nice thing about the knitting and the crochet, so more with the knitting than the crochet, but either way, I can make beautiful things to wear. Now, I don't do sweaters, but I love to knit shawls and socks. And I live in Illinois. So shawls are a practical thing. It gets cold here in the winter. It gets chilly in the fall and the spring. We didn't have spring this year, but we're not going to go there. So it is really nice to be able to craft something. And there are so many different patterns, and shawls can be worn so many different ways. You do not have to wear them like, well, not even my grandmother wore a shawl or wears shawls. You can, wear them like a scarf, which I have done and looks fabulous. So there's lots of ways you can you can do that. So it is something to be considered. And what did I do? I am off somewhere. See, this is... What did I do? That's over there. You gotta love it when you're trying to figure out what you did. The joys of frogging. Yippee. So, yeah, the knitting has been great. And I have enough coloring books. The adult coloring book explosion has been amazing. Now, strangely, I have never have time for that. That is my like probably my most therapeutic craft, and I just never seem to sit down to do it. I mean, I have plenty of the things. I have numerous books. I have colored pencils. I have various types of markers. But I just very rarely sit down to do that craft. Unless I'm coloring with the kids. So when the nieces and the nephews, mostly the nieces, the nephews really aren't big into coloring, we'll color. Puzzles. That's not really a craft, but it was something I really enjoyed. And where are my puzzles? In the basement. I need to go through them and give some away. Unfortunately, I have more than well, I've done quite a few, but we have this store here in town. It's called Tuesday Morning. And I get some really awesome puzzles for a really awesome price. And so, yeah, I have lots of puzzles. And I enjoy doing puzzles. But again, when the cross stitch, I was doing puzzles a lot. And then the cross stitch bug hit. And that was a problem. I no longer had time for all my puzzles because I was stitching all the time. Matter of fact, that was like stitching kind of for a while overtook all of my hobbies, and it was the only one that I was doing anything. And as with so many of those things, yeah, that was fine until I got burnt out. And I mean, even as much as last summer, I was still stitching quite a bit, but I had started picking up knitting a lot last year. And then it just kind of, the amount of work that was last year, I really had very little time for crafting. None of my crafts a lot of time. So making up for lost time this summer. And I'm trying to make a better, more stable crafting path. So I've kind of come to a few realizations. One, as much as I enjoy HAEDs, the full-size HAEDs are just probably never going to get done. Every time I pull them out, I tend to lose my stitchy bug. And so that's just a problem. And yes, I know it's just a stitch at a time, and it's no different than doing any other project. But for me, it just doesn't seem to be the right fit. So I didn't have that many on the go anyway, but I was doing the mermaid for my husband, and I've kind of decided to set all of my full-size projects aside. I only have a couple full-size HAEDs. Now my minis, I don't have any problem with those, and I will probably slowly bring those back into the rotation. But for now, I wanted to focus on things that there was a reasonable expectation I could make progress and enjoy. So, with that in mind, I've been working diligently on smaller projects. So I finished my cluttering on Saturday, so 2 days ago. And then I started working on this project. Now, I am not sure that I will actually get a finish on this project because it is a fairly large project. It's not huge, but it's reasonably sized. But I would like to attempt to finish this. I would like to get some of my whips out of my rotation because I have a limited amount of stitching time at this point. And I want to stitch on things and I want to see progress. If you're not seeing progress, it kind of, well, in my mind, defeats the purpose to some degree. You know, I'm, yes, a process stitcher, but I like a finish now and again. And I wasn't seeing a finish with the limited amount of crafting time. So, I'm trying to work down my whips. Now, does that mean I won't start anything new? Well, for those of you who have been watching me for a while, you know the answer is a resounding no. I really am trying to resist the urge of a new start, but I already have one that I'm tempted with, and that's for school. So, you know, I already have an excuse right there, but it's for my classroom. So, you know, there's already that one. I just purchased the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition, and that's my dog dreaming, which is kind of funny. And so, you know, there's the cute Halloween pieces, but I already have like 3 or 4 Halloween pieces going, so I am trying being the operative word, to resist the urge to start something new for Halloween, because I do have so many projects. So we have that. But I'm not going to tell myself you can't start anything new, because the minute you do that, yeah, that's not going to work for me. But I am trying to, before, when I go, oh, I'm in the mood to stitch on whatever, I'm trying to go to my pile of whips and find something that suits that need. Because I have something for almost everything. The only thing I don't have a current one going is a sampler. I have one I want to stitch, and I've wanted to stitch it for probably 5 years now. The problem is it's expensive because it has a lot of Gloriana silks in it. And yeah, I don't know that. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I want to do the silks. I do not want to do it in, I want to do it in the called for threads. And it was a sampler. It was in the Just Cross Stitch magazines, I think in 2014, maybe 2015, something like that. And I loved it. There's been 2 that I want to do out of Just Cross Stitch. But again, called for threads are a little pricey. I think I priced it out at, like $50 or something, which in the grand scheme of things is not that expensive. I mean, I've spent more on yarn. So realistically, no, I did it right. It's not that bad. But when I learned how to cross stitch, I was paying 10 cents for a skein of DMC, 15 cents. So there are days where just buying DMC is about enough to give me a heart attack, let alone buying silks. So I don't know. I don't know. And so it's on the back burner anyway right now. It's not like, again, I need a new start. I don't. What I need to do is get some finishes. And this is going to be a very pretty one. I'm actually enjoying this, getting back to it. So that has been really encouraging. So, and then the diamond painting. Oh, the diamond painting. So I was very, very resistant to the diamond painting when it first came out. Oh, that's just kind of dumb. Who wants to do that? It's not cross stitch. I'm not gonna do that. Not interested. Well, was last fall at some point. It was right around Christmas time because I got a few for Christmas. I was like, okay, I want to try it because I need another craft like I need another hole in the head. But hey, it looks kind of cool. And it looked like it was faster than cross stitch. Because we can tell, I'm not a super fast stitcher. Not trying to be fast, but anyway. So I was like, I'm gonna get something. So I ordered, or my husband ordered for me, the owl project that I've been working on, and then 2 others. Now, it has been, 9 months, give or take, and I haven't finished any of them. Because diamond painting, so not my major craft. However, that being said, I will say diamond painting does have a place in my crafty universe. Because just like with coloring, diamond painting offers it's meditative. That's a good word for it. It is so very relaxing because unlike cross stitch, I have to look up the pattern. I kind of have to pay attention to where I'm putting my needle. I mean, you have to pay attention to some degree in diamond painting. I mean, it's not... It's hard to explain, but it gives me that relaxation and that just, for lack of a better, zen. I enjoy cross stitch, and I can sit here and cross stitch for hours. I can knit, I can crochet, but part of the difference is that I think I'm more focused on the end results with the cross stitch and the knitting and the crochet. Whereas with the diamond painting, I don't have that pressure because I have no plans for the most part of what I'm going to do with it. It's just kind of one of those, I'm not planning on displaying it. I'm sure I will display it at some point, but it's not a, oh, hey, I'm going to frame this and hang it on my wall. It's going to go in my living room. No, it's just it's a pretty picture. I'm going to make it kind of like coloring. I'm not going to display my coloring, but I enjoy doing it. And it's kind of like that, if that makes sense. So, we've been doing a little bit more diamond painting just because, like I said, it is very cathartic. And there are a great many things that I will do a diamond painting of that there is just no way I'd stitch. It would take too long. It's just, but with diamond painting, yeah, I'll do it. It's fun, it's pretty. I can do it for no other reason than I want to. Whereas with my stitching, no, I'm not going to do that. So I've been enjoying it. The light board helped a lot too, because now I can see what I'm doing, which is nice. So I've been enjoying that. Really, really enjoying this fairy. She is looking good. Now, if I quit making stupid mistakes and having to frog, I'd be a lot happier. Because I hate frogging. I think we all hate frogging. I mean, I even have my frog up on the wall to ward off against frogs, but they don't listen. What are you gonna do? So But oh, she's looking so good. I know she's upside down for you guys, but I can't do much about that right now. There's limited places where I can put the camera and still stitch. Ugh. Yeah. Alright, thread. You need to cooperate, not tie yourself into a knot. I do so hate when it does that. There we go. And I have so many fairies to stitch. So many fairies to stitch. Don't know where I'm going to put them all. No clue. But, you know. What can you do? Oh. Where am I at? There. Making good progress on the dress today. Probably because it's more interesting to stitch on than rocks. Oh, I hated stitching on those rocks. Oh, rocks. Boring rocks. It's a lot of rocks. Really happy to see the rocks done. And it's so much... It's like total smooth sailing now. And part of the thing that took me forever with Hades is that you start at the top. I have, since like my second cross stitch, I always start at the bottom and go up. It's like a total, I have to start at the bottom and go up. When I can't, it just drives me just that little bit mental. And I don't need any extra help going mental. High school teacher. My sanity is already in question on a regular basis. I mean, come on. I need to finish my Pirate Santa up too. My husband keeps harassing me about that one, but it just doesn't call to me. Maybe when Christmas gets closer. But I have like 3 or 4 Christmas projects. I need to get them done too. See, it's just an ongoing, when you've got this many whips, it's like, ugh, I'm never going to finish anything. I can remember when I had 20 finishes in a year, and now I think I've had 5 finishes maybe this year. And that's like, wow, astounding. And it's like, this is kind of sad. I need more finishes. Oh, wait. That should be 3 in, not 2. Yep. Really don't want a frog again. But I definitely would like to get her dress done at some point. So many emails. I'm kind of tired of Prime Day. Need to be done with it already. Okay. Now let's go back over here and pick this up. So I hope everybody else is having a awesome summer and doing lots of fun things. Although I think everybody is sick of the heat. Everybody seems to be having the same heat wave. It's like, ugh. Enough already. But maybe we'll get lucky and August and September won't be so bad. I'm not holding my breath, but you know, we can hope. It'd be nice to have a lovely early fall that lasts for a while and, you know, be able to go out and do all those fun things that you do in fall. I know my husband is definitely looking forward to some camping trips. And I'm sorry about the binging. Apparently somebody is messaging me. Oh. Huh? No, my friend is telling me there are 15-cent folders. And I am going to have to go look at that as soon as I am done stitching or this video because I need me some folders. I need 150 of them for my students. So, yeah. I'll be looking at that in a little bit. So that is awesomeness. I'm going to have to go see who's got 15-cent folders. Because Walmart had them. And they were all picked through already. And it's like, oh, man. What are you going to do, though? Alright. Alright. I think I am going to call this good here. Because 1, I need to get up and stretch. 2, I should probably, maybe, think about actually doing some chores. I've kind of hit my happy chill spot, so yep, I think it is time to maybe think about doing some house chores and all that good jazz. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to comment, subscribe, have a burning question you need answered, leave me a comment below, give me something to talk about, and I will talk to you later. Bye.